Hey guys, welcome to Anime Rewind, where we revisit animes from our childhood and try to see if they hold up to today or if they should just remain a good memory. In this podcast, we are currently discussing InuYasha 112 to 123. My name's Loofie.
My name is Shang.
And my name is Mio.
Jingle bells, jingle,
What is that
jingle
sound?
all the way.
What is that?
Oh, what fun it is to
Is it
ride
really
on
that
a
time of the
one-horse
year
open
already?
sleigh. Ho, ho, ho!
Santa?
Merry Christmas! How are you doing, my guys?
Oh God, Santa came for the podcast.
Oh, ho, ho, ho! I only know how to say ho, ho, ho.
Oh, wait, get out. Who are you? You're not the real Santa.
Hey guys, I was possessed by the spirit of Christmas for a second, but I'm back. It's Christmas. The holidays are here. We're all on break, I think.
The holidays are here.
And it's just time to sit down, gather around the campfire, bring your friends and family close, and listen to another episode of Anime Rewind, the #1 podcast families have rated to be most wholesome and easy to listen to for holiday events.
That's right.
That's right. Make sure you pick up your action figure Shang with 10 key voice lines this Christmas for all your kids. Available at Walmart, Target, and Best Buy for $69.99 plus tax.
And don't forget to pick up your Loofie loofah. He's great.
I don't think anyone wants to buy that, Shang. I don't think that's something people want to buy.
I mean, why would you?
Hey, what's this loofah made out of? His dead skin cells.
Oh God.
Oh, okay. I'll take 5, said no one ever.
Merry Christmas.
It's like getting a fruitcake for Christmas.
Happy holidays. Happy Kwanzaa. What other winter holidays are there?
Happy
New Year's? There's New Year's.
No. Before the New Year's,
Ah.
but the New Year's is coming. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I can't think of anything.
You know what? Just stay merry.
Just stay merry, stay Christmas, and have a great holiday this year. This is actually the last Christmas. This is the last Kwanzaa. This is the last festive celebration day of the decade. You know, next episode that we release is going to be in 2020. We're going to be brand new people with brand new backstories and brand new careers.
Brand new backstories.
Brand
Can
new backstories.
A brand new opening. Brand new everything. I'm not even going to be called Loofie anymore. I'm changing my name.
That's right. They call him Loaf now, or
Oh,
it's
no.
Loofie.
No, my name's Benny Kotsu.
Oh, my name's Benjamin Kotsu.
Mio, what's your name going to be in 2020?
Bang me Kotsu.
Oh, no. That's a dangerous name. All right, everyone, stop listening right now. Grab your family, grab your grandparents, sit them down, and tell them this is the last thing you want to hear in 2019 because it is the best thing you'll hear this decade. And with that, let's go into our favorite segment. You guys, for this episode, we watched 12 episodes that wrapped up the Band of 7 arc. They were insane. They were good. The animation was good. They were a little bit long because we watched 12 episodes, but I had a really good time with it. So much happened. I don't even know if we can recap it all, but we're going to try our best. And we're going to do it
Oh, heck yeah, we will.
in our favorite game, 61 seconds. Copyright. TM, copyright. All right, so why don't we switch up the order? I think last time I went first. I don't even remember, but this time why don't we have Shang go first, Mio go second, and I'll bring it home with a grand slam shebang Papa John's Pizza Hut.
Well, Luffy, I hope you're ready because there's a lot going on here. Do
I
you
know,
believe?
right? I don't really believe. To
Whoa,
be
whoa,
honest.
hold on.
We're gonna do our
In the
best.
spirit of merriness.
Christmasness.
Yeah, sure. You gotta believe. And Kwanzaa.
That's true. That's true. I have to channel my inner Jake Skellington, or is it Jack Skellington? I gotta channel my inner Nightmare Before Christmas,
Jake
and I
Kotsu
will.
Skellington.
We will do it. Wait, what, Mew?
Nothing.
Oh, all right. Wait, who was going first again? I already forgot.
Oh, I was going first.
All right, all right. Sheng, whenever you're ready, count us down and get going.
All right. 3, 2, 1. A mysterious light hits Hajiri Island, and the villager leader go to investigate. Yasha gang go in search of the origins of the Naraku puppet. Stumbles upon the village. Village headman asks for help. They go to sail off to Hajiri Island. They covered in flowers. Benkosu just pops out of some shrine. They fight. Moroku and the headsman's son destroy the barrier. Releases the island from the barrier. Yasha and Benkosu fight again. They Benkutsu summons a thunderstorm, drops on everybody, everyone's unconscious. Vajra stops InuYasha from fighting Benkotsu. Kagome gets a good shot on him. Benkotsu escapes. The gang returns to the village. They find a cave. Kogo finds a cave with a big pig. They eat it. So Shomaru takes a big leap of faith. Kikyo leaves the kids behind. Sango and Moroku head to the mountain. Koga ventures off to the mountain, fights Renkotsu, Ginkotsu. They fight. Moroku's trying to get some cheeks.
All right, let's go, Mew!
We see Moroku trying to touch Sango's butt, but the barrier makes him sick when he thinks bad thoughts. Koga's fighting. Moroku's still trying to touch butt. Koga's still fighting. And he's looking for their jewel shards. Ginkotsu goes rogue and decides to fight Koga all by himself, and he ends up dying, and Renkotsu gets away with his shard and decides to keep it for himself instead of giving it to Bankotsu. InuYasha and Kagome go to Koga's aid, who's almost dead. Bankotsu has a moment where he's like drinking to his friends, and he sees Kikyo, and he's like, let's just enjoy life while we can. And then Jokotsu and Suikotsu ambush Sushomaru, Rin, and Jakin. Rin and Jakin get attacked on the bridge by Suikotsu. Suikotsu and Rin fall down. Shishomaru can't catch him. Suikotsu takes her to his village with all the kids. And then we see Kohaku trying to lure Sango and Moroku away from the mountain.
Oh, it's my turn. Let's go. Suikotu kills some villagers, says he's always bad. Jakotsu's like, cool. He grabs Rin, and then Suikotu gets ready to slay some orphans when he sees Kikyo in his head. So Shomaru walks into a trap knowingly to save Rin, but he gets weakened by Mount Hakure's barrier. Jakin's like, maybe if he can handle it, I can. Then he gets wrecked, and he says, then again, maybe not. So Shomaru and Suikotu fight. It's a decent attack. Suikotu gets ready to kill Rin when Kikyo shoots an arrow into his neck. Suikotu reverts back to his old self for one last time, asks to be killed, and then Renkotsu rips his neck out. No, someone rips his neck out, rips Suikotsu. Then Renkotsu has a scene where he sticks Ginkotsu's shard into his arm. He feels better, and then he finds Koga and baits InuYasha away. InuYasha realizes that he got baited. Michael Bay explodes all over the river. InuYasha arrives in time to protect Koga and Kagome. Koga baits Renkotsu by pretending to be dead, and then InuYasha and Renkotsu fall into a river. And oh my god. That's so hard to do.
It's pretty hard, isn't
well,
it?
we recapped 6 episodes. Not bad.
Yeah, good job, guys.
Not bad, guys.
Yeah,
You did
let's do that. I
50%
told you,
this
I
time.
believe.
Yeah, if you really want to know what happens in the rest, you gotta watch it yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, just pop on some Hulu Plus, and just watch away.
But these are some really good episodes.
They were. Actually, the animation was almost close to movie quality for some episodes. Like 117, the one we just were recapping where InuYasha and Renkotsu fight. Primo animation. They probably spent all their filler budget that they saved on that episode because it was insanely good.
So we think.
It probably cost the same as their bad episodes. They just are lazy usually or something. I don't know. All right. Well, you know what? I'll give us 2.5 gold stars out of 5 because we recapped half the episodes.
Feels bad.
But I'll round it up to 3 gold stars so we can each get one
I'll
each.
Take 'em.
One gold star for each of us. Good work, guys. Good work. Okay. So I split the 12 episodes into 4 sections, and essentially, it's split into their arrival on Hijiri Island and their interactions with Bankotsu on Hijiri Island, Then we have Mount Hakare Part 1, Mount Hakare Part 2, and then Bankotsu's Final Stand is what I call the final segment. And so to begin, we get this scene where we see this light fall and hit an island, and there's this guy we don't recognize, but he's like, "Hey, I'm the the village head leader. I gotta go check this out." And he goes and he doesn't come back. And up to present day, we have this kid who's like, "My dad hasn't come back. I gotta go save him." They're like, "No, you can't. That's not your job." But then InuYasha and the gang shows up, and he's like, "Please, you gotta help me." And his name's Shintaro, and they agree to accompany him to his island. On the island, there's these flowers, and you see the Temple of the Wise One, which is the burial grounds for the priest Saint Hakushin, who is the priest that looks over Mount Hakure. It's at this point they walk toward the Temple of the Wise One, and Bankotsu busts out of it and begins to fight InuYasha. While InuYasha and Bankotsu are fighting, I believe Moroku runs by, or someone runs by. No, it's Shintaro. Yeah, so while InuYasha and Bankotsu are fighting, Shintaro runs by, and he sees that the mummified remains of Saint Hakushin are missing, as if someone had stolen them. They continue to fight, and Miroku starts to realize that this barrier is taking a toll on his friends, and obviously, like, something's going on. So he, being the true intellect that he is of the group, he finds the source of the barrier and destroys it. But before all this settles and before Bankotsu escapes, Miroku is left with this question where he continually asks for a while. He says, "Is Saint Hakushin helping Naraku?" And for a while, he kind of juggles with this question back and forth. He's not sure for a very long time. But it does appear that Hakushin is on the side of Bankotsu. And we're left with the question, why is a priest helping a demon Naraku?
Whoa. He is a Buddha?
The living Buddha himself.
That's right.
Actually, that story about the living Buddha was insane, like, you get buried alive with a single bamboo stick sticking out of the ground, and you just gotta pray until you die.
That's right. That's how you reach nirvana, baby.
Are you ready to become a living Buddha, Shane?
Let's go. Let's do it.
All right. I'll dig a hole 5 feet wide, 5 feet deep.
All right. How many feet is that gonna take?
I don't know, but me and my boy Shai are gonna do it. Then you're gonna get in there. We're gonna bury you, leave you with one bamboo stick, and hope to God it doesn't rain, Shane. Hope to God.
No. The tide gets higher. Where's all this water coming from? Hail.
Hail. Did Bubbles poop nearby? Hail. I can't focus on my praying.
Through the bamboo.
No.
And that was the last we ever saw of Shang. Did he become the living Buddha? We don't know.
It's hard to tell.
Or did he just become Bubbles' toilet?
Hail.
So Hijiri Island, let's get back on track. Hijiri Island lasts for about 2 episodes, and essentially the main question we're left with is this question of why is a priest helping out Naraku? And so to answer that question, we start to head to Mount Hakure, the place that we've been trying to get to for so long. Like, if you even think about it, we've been trying to get to Mount Hakure since before the 13 episodes of filler that we watched. So it's been almost like 30 episodes since we said we were going to go to Mount Hakure, and we're finally headed there. We're finally going there.
We're almost there.
And so the episode 114 begins with Koga having trouble entering Mount Hakure. And because there's a barrier erected by a priest or some sort that doesn't allow demons to get close. And so we see Koga trying to break in. And then the scene pans out, and we see Genkotsu and Renkotsu just standing there, looking at Koga, kind of laughing at him, while he tries to get through the barrier, and they're just like, "Heh, the barrier works." And then they decide to attack him, and so Koga gets attacked. And Shang, would you love to tell us the story of how Koga gets attacked?
He's like, "Aim for the legs, get him!" Like, all right. bam! And Koga being such a badass, he just jumps out of the way, right? And so, quite literally, this whole fight is pretty decent, except for Genkotsu, right? It's like, all right, shoot him, bang bang, and Renkotsu's like, all right, back into the purified barrier, which is pretty cheap. It's a good tactic, pretty cheap though. But eventually, my boy Koga wins it, not in the most spectacular way, but he eventually gets the upper hand on Genkotsu. Genkotsu gets so frustrated. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna drop him with that kamikaze. Blows up, takes himself, obviously, because he's the one blowing up, possibly Koga, and Ren, I imagine, if I remember right, Renkotsu's pretty injured too.
Yeah, so Renkotsu got injured because Koga slashes Renkotsu and puts like 3 deep scars in his left shoulder, if I remember correctly.
Right.
And that angers Genkotsu, which I thought was the best part. Genkotsu's like, I'm mad. Next thing you know, like, he changes formation, like his bottom body like rotates 90 degrees, guns everywhere. And he's like, bang, bang, bang. And then like none of it works, right? And then he shoots his torso out at Koga. And he's like, I'm gonna get you. And then there's a point where Koga suplexes Genkotsu's torso into the ground.
That's right.
And then that's when he blows up. And in the explosion, Renkotsu's able to just limp away because Koga and his 2 friends are just completely beaten up as well.
Yeah, a lot of these fights, the ending is more or less either pretty sad or kind of dramatic.
Yeah. But this is the episode where goodbye Genkotsu. Band of 7? More like just band of 3 now. We're down to only Renkotsu, Jakotsu, and Bankotsu.
So question here for this part. Are you surprised that Genkotsu has made it this far?
I wasn't oh wait, hold up. I'm sorry. I forgot Suikotsu's still alive. My bad. But I was expecting Genkotsu to go out next, actually. Like how in animes when you have a team of bad guys, the ugly ones go out first.
Right.
And the ones that look like beautiful humans stay alive forever.
Wait, what are you talking about? Mukotsu was the most beautiful one.
That's right.
Well, he was an unfortunate accident.
An accident feels bad.
He ran into Sesshomaru, and Sesshomaru is just much more beautiful than Mukotsu was.
It's all about a battle of looks at this point in the anime.
That's right.
Yeah, you start the clash, and everyone stares right at the camera and gives them that smolder, and then whoever smolder sucks more loses, and that's why Genkotsu lost. But we get left with a very wounded Koga. Like, Koga's never been this hurt before. Like, he is dead as dirt at this point.
Dead as dirt.
And I believe it's like InuYasha smells a dying wolf or something like that, and he brings Kagome, and then Kagome looks at InuYasha with puppy eyes and please save Koga, you have to.
All right,
fine, whatever. And so he picks up Koga, and they leave. But Genkotsu, can we get a moment of silence for our favorite robot boy? That's good enough, you guys. So, why don't we pick up the next part? So, after episode 114 ends, we find Kikyo wandering in the forest. So Kikyo's still around Mount Hakure. She's still trying to get past this barrier, but she's trying to be careful because it's purifying the spirits out of her, and she loses all her spirits and she dies. And Kikyo crosses paths with Bankotsu. Bankotsu is drinking sake in front of the grave of Mukotsu and Kyokotsu at this point. And he's kind of he's asking them how the afterlife is, or and stuff like that. And then he's just screw it. I don't believe in an afterlife. So he stands up, picks up his stuff, and then heads out. And so Bankotsu, Kikyo cross paths. We get a little bit of backstory as to why Bankotsu is the way he is, which is a very simple thing. He just says he likes killing and pillaging because that's what he likes doing. And that's why he does it.
Simple man, simple thoughts.
Then before they go, Bankotsu looks at Kikyo and he's like, well, you're dead too. Why don't we just try enjoying life? until we die again, and then they leave. And that's kind of what's defining Bankotsu. He's trying to have as much fun in life until he dies. And then on the other side of things, we have Sesshomaru and Jakotsu duking it out. So we find Sesshomaru and Jakotsu. They're near an edge of a cliff. Jakotsu starts to fight Sesshomaru, which starts to endanger Jaken and Rin. So Sesshomaru looks at Jaken and tells, "Hey Rin." Well, he looks at Jaken and says, "Hey Jaken, get Rin out of the way." So Jaken and Rin start to run away across a bridge away from Jakotsu. But as they're running across the bridge, they run into Suikotsu, who is heading them off. Jaken attempts to protect Rin by using the Staff of Two Heads, but the thing is, the bridge is made out of rope, and the Staff of Two Heads shoots fire, so the bridge burns, and Jaken, Rin, and Suikotsu fall into a chasm. Sesshomaru's fight is interrupted at that point because he sees Rin falling, so he tries to run away. Jakotsu makes one last attempt to attack him, and Sesshomaru just whaps his Tokijin and knocks Jakotsu's blade out of the way and leaves.
What a man.
And Jakotsu's left stunned, and then his clothes rip. He's like, "Oh,
I'm naked.
So cold." And Sesshomaru chases after Rin. We find them at the bottom of a chasm. Jaken is lying there, but Rin is nowhere to be seen. Jaken notices that Sesshomaru has come down, and so he pretends to be dead. And Sesshomaru is like, "Jaken, are you pretending to be dead?" And Jaken's like, "No, my lord. No, not at all." And so Sesshomaru is like, "Hey, Jaken, come on, let's go." And so then the scene cuts over to Suikotsu and Rin. Suikotsu is carrying Rin, and his hair is kind of down, and he appears to be back in good doctor mode, right? He's speaking kindly to Rin, and he's heading back to the village that he was the acting doctor for. And so he gets back to that village, and the orphans see him, and they're like, "Oh, the doctor's back. Yay, yay." And then Jakotsu is hiding in a bush, and he's like, "I can't believe that Suikotsu reverted back to his good self again. What happened?" But then as he's saying that, some older villagers arrive, and they're like, "Please, doctor, you have to leave. You are a danger to us." And pretty much Suikotsu is like, "I'll show you a danger," and then proceeds to kill all the villagers. And at this point, it's Rin's like, "Oh my god, you aren't a good doctor. What's going on?" Jakotsu comes out of the bush, and Suikotsu explains that he's completely in control at this point. So Jakotsu grabs Rin, and then I believe Kikyo is off in the distance, and Kikyo notices that Suikotsu's jewel shard is completely tainted, meaning that there's no possible way that he's going to revert back to his good doctor self. And then, so Jakotsu's holding on to Rin, and Suikotsu says, "Let me show you how it's done." And he raises his Wolverine claws to slay the orphans when suddenly he sees Kikyo in his mind.
My waifu.
And his arm freezes. "Back off, Suikotsu. She's my waifu." I can't do it. Who's this nice lady who
so
saved
pretty.
me?
I can't do it.
Oh. But, at this point, we end on a cliffhanger, and we're like, okay, what is Suikotsu doing? Obviously, he still has some sort of internal struggle going on, but the majority of control for this body is obviously the evil side of him. And so episode 116 begins with Sesshomaru walking closer to Mount Hakure. And so as you get closer to Mount Hakure, the strength of the purifying barrier gets stronger. So demons like Sesshomaru and Jaken, they get weakened as they go in. And this was described as a dizzy feeling and visualized as an electric look as you're passing through barriers. And so Sesshomaru is doesn't say I gotta go save Rin, but he's obviously gonna go save Rin. So he knowingly just walks through the barrier to go save Rin. And so then we have Jaken, who's following Sesshomaru, and he's like, "All right, if Sesshomaru can do it, so can I." Walks up, gets electrocuted by the barrier, and falls on his butt. And then he's like, then again, maybe not.
What a trooper.
What a true trooper. He tries so hard. You know what? At least Jaken is on his feet. Shippo's asleep, passed out at this point.
Shippo was just passed out for majority of these episodes.
Yeah, Shippo, come on, do your job. What are you doing?
So tired, so sleepy.
I'm so sleepy. I'm so sleepy because I'm trash. So Sesshomaru eventually encounters Jakotsu and Suikotsu. And I believe Sesshomaru engages in a fight with Jakotsu and takes like a wound on the arm. And at that point, Jakotsu remarks that, "Oh, look, even the barrier wounds the great Lord Sesshomaru." But they continue fighting, and then Sesshomaru uses some real tactics. I believe he chunks his sword backwards, which stabs Suikotsu in the shoulder. So he drops Rin, and then he rushes Jakotsu and uses his hands and just stabs Jakotsu with his hand. And like, so he takes them both down at once, right?
I was wondering about that. Do you think, I mean, I would assume not, but I assume Sesshomaru had no idea how to kill these two, like the actual way you're supposed to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think, cause like, think of the way he killed Mukotsu. He split him in half.
Because it looked like he was going for a fatal blow for both.
Yeah, well, Suikotsu gets a shoulder blow. Jakotsu is through the chest.
I could have swore it was through Suikotsu's chest as well, with the sword. Because it looked like he was going for a kill shot for both.
It may have, yeah, you're right. It may have been a kill shot for both. But yeah, you bring up a good point. Sesshomaru didn't know how to kill these people because he can't sense jewel shards.
He can't.
He's just he's a brutal killing machine.
Because from memory from this episode, he took a lot of the damage from Jakotsu. He was like, all right, I'm going all in with this attack. And I thought it was very commendable. Too bad it didn't work in this case.
Yeah, so this brings Suikotsu into a desperate mode, and so he gets ready to kill Rin, right? And right as he brings his like claws down to kill Rin, a arrow pierces his neck, and he looks up and he sees that it's Kikyo who fired the arrow. And Kikyo at this point is kind of like, yeah, why, waifu? We had everything. But at this point, Kikyo's kind of like, like you're beyond saving. Your jewel shard's completely tainted, and the good doctor is gone. And so, Suikotsu falls to the ground, and Kikyo walks up to Suikotsu. And the purification powers of her arrow actually purifies the jewel shard momentarily that allows Suikotsu to revert back to the good doctor and ask for Kikyo to take the jewel shard from his neck and end the cycle of suffering that he causes. He also randomly just starts telling his backstory about how like he used to help people.
I was a real physician.
And then one day a village was burning and some guy killed the kid he was holding, so he killed him. And then he heard an angry voice and he became Suikotsu, the killer, Wolverine.
That's
and that's his backstory.
That legit
it's so
is
weird.
His backstory.
And it's so sudden and random. And I understand that like Rumiko Takahashi is just trying to make us care about Suikotsu, but now's not the time, man. Why is he telling his backstory with an arrow in his neck? You can't talk when you have an arrow in your neck. That's not how it works, but he does it.
Gets shot in the neck. All right, it's time to talk about my life. All right, sure. Grab the popcorn.
When I was 13,
I
had my first love.
love.
All right, calm it down, Ludacris. You'll be okay. Well, like, so he asks Kikyo to remove the jewel shard. As Kikyo reaches down, Jakotsu's blade comes across Suikotsu, which knocks the jewel shard out and ends up in Jakotsu's hands. And so at this point, Suikotsu dies and Jakotsu flees. Sesshomaru no longer cares, and so he takes Rin and Jaken and they just leave. One thing I would mention though is when Suikotsu is telling his backstory, there's a scene. He's lying on the ground, like Kikyo's kneeled over him, right? And then Sesshomaru and Rin are standing in the background, just standing there, like they're listening to it. This is some good story right here. We gotta listen in. I was like, oh, okay. I guess it was a good story, Sesshomaru. Like, if you really want to know how it plays out, I'm really committed to this character. I stabbed him in the chest.
Rin, you gotta listen to this man's story. You might have to tell it to your children one day.
There was one time I got abducted by this guy, and
he
was
got
a physician.
Struck in
he was
the
a
neck.
real physician, and he got struck in the neck, and he just kept talking like a real physician.
He was crazy.
Crazy, bro. But yeah, so at this point, like, if we're keeping score of who's killed the most of the band of 7, we got Koga at 2, 1 kill, 1 assist technically, but I'll give him 2. Sesshomaru's at 1, and Jakotsu with the team kill at 1. And we have InuYasha with a big fat 0.
But he's the main character though. He's supposed to be killing everyone.
You know, I wonder if it's actually intentional that InuYasha doesn't kill most of the band of 7, like to be like, oh, InuYasha's a good guy. He doesn't really kill,
That's right.
I wonder if that was the intention, or it's just like Rumiko Takahashi's just like, he just wasn't there, so he didn't kill him. Let's give it to someone else.
Pretty much.
Because like outside the rest of the series, I don't feel like Koga really fights anything crazy.
He really doesn't.
But he kills Kyokotsu and Ginkotsu. Like, he wrecks those boys, and those boys are actually pretty strong. And it's like, oh, okay, good job, Koga.
Nice.
Good job.
Nice
work. So, speaking of Koga, we're brought back to the scene with Koga at this point. The InuYasha is taking Koga to a cave behind a waterfall, and they're trying to recover. So Kagome asks where InuYasha is, and we get a scene panned over to InuYasha. He's just floating on his back in a river. And Shippo is like, oh, I wonder what InuYasha's thinking about right now. And InuYasha goes, the weather is too nice around here. And that's what he was thinking about. And then we pan again to Moroku and Sango. Moroku and Sango, I forgot to mention, they went into Mount Hakure alone because they're the only 2 humans of the group. So they're the only ones that don't get affected by the purifying aura of the mountain. And at this point, they are traversing to the peak of Mount Hakure, but they're lost. And so they're in this cave, and they're just wandering around, and Miroku's kind of like, just seize the moment, carpe diem, And Sango's like, oh god, we're so lost. But at this point, they see a glowing thing in the distance, and they're like, oh, I see a glowing thing. Let's follow it. Sango's like, it might be dangerous. And Miroku's like, don't worry about it. YOLO. And then they start to follow the glowy thing, right? And we find out that the glowy thing is Kohaku. Kohaku's actually trying to lead them away from Naraku because Kohaku still doesn't remember who Sango is, but he has this very distinct feeling of he doesn't want to fight Sango. And so he leads them out of the cave. We find out that the glowing thing was a glowing cloak that he was wearing. He casts it to the side and then he leaves. And eventually, we get to the end where Moroku and Sango make it out of the cave. They see the cloak. Sango immediately recognizes it's a Demon Slayer cloak and immediately draws the conclusion that Kohaku was the one that got them out of this cave. And so then, knowing that Kohaku is here, she and Moroku continue deeper into Mount Hakure. And so that wraps up the first 2 sections that we're talking about. The arrival on Hijiri Island, and then the first part of Mount Hakure where we see the end of Ginkotsu and Suikotsu. And I actually, these episodes were really good. I thought they were very good episodes. They told a very concise story. A lot happens per chapter, and I just had an overall good time. So I just wanted to check in with you guys. At 6 episodes in, how are you guys feeling about what you had watched?
I'm in. I'm back in. After all that filler, I'm glad we're getting to... Well, I guess I should be saying that I'm glad I'm getting into some new stuff that I've never seen before, which is probably I'm so hooked again.
Yeah, me too.
But boy, they did really good with this arc. Ooh, there is some good stuff in this arc.
They did. I legitimately felt super burnt out after we made it through the filler, but the Band of 7 just revitalized everything. It was such a good it's such a good story, and you get such interesting characters, and it's all it all fits naturally into the overall InuYasha arc, because overall InuYasha is all about fighting Naraku,
right?
And then you get these Band of 7, you're like, what are they doing here? Well, they're buying time for Naraku, and it's like, okay, that makes sense. Tell me more about these Band of 7. And InuYasha does such a good job of just fleshing out these characters and making them so interesting in such a short amount of time. Why don't we continue on to episode 117? Episode 117, probably one of the best animated InuYasha episodes I've seen so far. We get another one later on around, I think it's 121, that's so good. But this one was insane. The way they animate the fight between Renkotsu and InuYasha on the river is like 10 out of 10. But before I get ahead of myself, we start the episode with Renkotsu. He's back in his cave, where he was fixing up Ginkotsu, and he it's a moment where he's showing regret for the death of Ginkotsu, because he's like fumbling through the stuff, and he's like, oh, I could have put this on Ginkotsu, like I could have put this too, I could have made him stronger, but because I didn't, Ginkotsu is dead. And then Renkotsu pulls the jewel shard of Ginkotsu out of his pocket, and he looks at the wound that Koga gave him, and he thinks to himself, like, if I'm going to survive, I have to get stronger. So he inserts the shard into his shoulder and completely recovers. The jewel shard just cures him instantly. And so then he says, okay, now that I'm cured, now that I've made my peace with Ginkotsu, let's go find Koga, because I need his jewel shards to get stronger. And so he sets out. At this point, we shift scenes. Koga begins to wake up. And the first thing he realizes when he wakes up is he gets upset. Because he's like, why do I smell like dog? and then his friends explain to him that InuYasha carried him all the way here to safety, because Kagome asked. And Koga's like, why didn't you carry me? And they're like, oh, we were hurt too. And then at that point, InuYasha comes in from the river, and Koga's like, how dare you how dare you carry me here? And then InuYasha's like, do you think I liked it? I spent so much time in the river trying to wash off the smell of wolf. And then he does that dog shake thing and
whips
shakes
all that
water
everywhere.
And then at that point is when Renkotsu appears. Renkotsu immediately wait, no, at that point it's not Renkotsu who appears. At that point, a Saimyosho appears, sees Koga, and then starts to fly away. So InuYasha thinks, oh no, this Saimyosho is going to give information back to Naraku or whoever sent him. So he runs after it and starts to chase it. So he gets bamboozled. Because at that point, Renkotsu shows up, sets up a dam in the river, pours oil down the river, sets it all ablaze, and he's like, hey, I'm here.
I'm back, baby.
This moment is literally such a good moment in animation
he
quality.
He literally set this stage for himself. What a guy.
Dude, he's such a pro. I give major props to Renkotsu at this point, because it's he knows how to play to his field and to his advantage. He obviously works with fire, and he obviously knows how to trap people in a cave. And so he shows up and he begins to fight. He's throwing fire bombs, he's spitting fire everywhere, and all the while InuYasha is chasing the Saimyosho. He eventually catches up to the Saimyosho, cleaves it in two, and he turns around, and lo and behold, smoke everywhere coming out of where Kagome and Koga are. So he rushes back. He rushes back in time to protect Kagome and Koga from getting killed by Renkotsu, and they fight. It's pretty exciting, and essentially what it comes down to is Renkotsu's about to throw some fire bombs that's going to kill all of them. And so InuYasha tackles Renkotsu back out into the into the pool of flames, and they blow up.
What a dramatic scene.
And so Kagome and Koga are safe, but Kagome is legitimately upset because she thinks that InuYasha sacrificed his life to protect her and Koga. And so keep it together, Shang, my boy.
No, I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that part, I was like, dude, he was such a hero, and this is what happens. No, how does he get out of this one? And then
yeah, exactly. And then Koga's saying some stuff, and then his friend's like, no, don't do it, don't say it, because Kagome's super upset. And then next thing you know, InuYasha's back, And she like embraces InuYasha. She's like, "Oh my god,
Development.
InuYasha, you're still alive.
Development.
I can't believe it." And then like Koga's like, "I'll let you have this. I'll let you have this moment, but don't think you won."
And then
And
my
this is when
favorite
InuYasha gets
part.
so smug.
So smug.
He's like, "Hey, don't you see what's going on here right now?
Yeah,
you
idiot.
don't stand a chance,
Doofus.
Yeah, doofus." And then you hear Kagome as she's like, "It's kind of getting hard to cry."
My eyes are starting to dry up quickly.
And they're just making these weird like childish faces, and I love it. It's so funny. And then like, essentially InuYasha and Koga ruined the moment and all the romance is lost. But like I feel like it's a growing point for the like InuYasha Kagome relationship because, well, like they do protect each other, they do care about each other, but this is the first time where Kagome has visibly been super upset.
And how many episodes did it take to get to this point? To finally show their connection?
117.
You know how many episodes it took for Soda to finally confess his feeling to the girl he liked? One goddamn episode.
One, that's right, my boy Soda.
But it was a filler, so I guess it never happened, so feels bad.
I think at this point, like, it's come full circle because we have seen InuYasha care about Kagome, right? Because in the scene where Mukotsu supposedly kills Kagome, like InuYasha is actually visibly upset. He doesn't even care about Moroku and Song. He's like, Kagome, you're dead.
Yeah.
Why? Who are those two people that are dead? I don't care about Kagome.
You know what? You just reminded me. During one of the episodes, I think it was during the Hajiri episodes, whenever Bankotsu's like drops lightning everywhere. It's like Kagome and Shippo, Sango and Kalala. He forgets Moroku completely. I'm like, that poor boy. Oh
yeah, who's Moroku?
Who's that
He can
guy?
handle himself. He can ride a bike and run at the same speed as I can. He can take care of
We're
himself.
like, for real.
Yeah, InuYasha obviously has some tunnel vision problems,
Very
but
much
like
so.
it's good to see some development. Like I feel like we really see some development with InuYasha and Kagome, and a little bit later we see development with Moroku and Sango, and it's like a very sweet scene.
It's pretty cheesy too.
So we wrap it up. Renkotsu escapes. He failed the assault to take the jewel shards from Koga, and InuYasha's still okay, Kagome's still okay, and now they're traveling with Koga. And so now at this point we're back to looking at Moroku and Sango. They're going further up Mount Hakare, and Moroku's just having a hard time. All his lecherous thoughts are being purified. And he's got these like wormy looking hands. Like his hands are just wiggling in front of him, because Sango is walking in front. And he's like, please, I'm more of a man. Is this all I am as a man? Please.
I just want to touch butt. That's all I want.
He
touch
just
butt.
wants to touch butt. So then Moroku and Sango, they get higher up Mount Hakare, and at this point Moroku is like looking around, and visually we start to see that purple like demonic aura that is known for Naraku, and Moroku is like, I can start sensing demonic aura now. We're definitely getting close. And Kagura is looking at a mirror that's shown by Kana of Moroku and Sango, and she's like, well, the two humans from InuYasha's group. Well, I'm ready for them. And she like has like all these demons ready behind her and stuff. And it really sets up for the next episode. At the same time, Renkotsu meets up with Bankotsu. Bankotsu greets him warmly, even though like Renkotsu's like getting really paranoid, because obviously he wasn't allowed to use Genkotsu's jewel shard. He's supposed to hand it over to Bankotsu, but he used it. And so he knows that if Bankotsu finds out that he's hoarding jewel shards for himself, Bankotsu is going to kill him. But Bankotsu greets him warmly and says, look, there's only 3 of us left. We gotta stick together. It's just me, you, and Jakotsu now. The band of 7, that's all that's left of us, so we gotta stick together. So then we cut back to Moroku and Sango, and they are fighting Naraku's demons and the Saimyosho set out by Kagura. And this is a very desperate moment for him. Sango gets knocked out because she throws the Hirai coats at Kagura, But as she throws it at Kagura, she noticed that Kohaku is watching from higher up, and she gets distracted. Kagura is like, why are you throwing this at me? I'm the wind. Slaps it back. Sango gets hit head on by the Hirai coats and gets knocked out. And so Miroku sees the woman that he cares about on the ground, like unconscious. And he says, like, if I can't protect the woman I care about, then what kind of man am I?
Oof.
He knows that the Saimyosho are dangerous to him, but he doesn't care. He opens up that wind tunnel and he gives everything the good suck.
Question.
And he sucks it all good.
Question.
What?
How long has it been
Yes.
since Miroku last opened up his wind tunnel?
Dude, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
You would think that he'd be sucking left and right without Naraku around, but like he seems hesitant to suck things that
That's
don't
right,
look like
no
centipedes.
suck, but now we suck.
It's time to take out the training wheels. It's time to suck again. And so he sucks up all the demons, all the poison insects, and even Kagura is like surprised. She's like, what is he doing? What's that monk doing? This is gonna kill him. But like obviously she doesn't understand that Miroku cares for Sango, is willing to sacrifice his life for her. And so he's able to protect Sango by sucking up most of the demons and the Saimyosho and attempts to continue. At this point we find Jakotsu. Jakotsu's a little bit cold because he got his clothes slashed up by Sesshomaru. And then he runs into Bankotsu, and they have like a little brotherly moment, you know, like Jakotsu found some new clothes, and they're just hanging out. And at this point, we don't really understand why Bankotsu and Jakotsu are so close. Like they seem like brothers compared to like Bankotsu and Renkotsu, which is like a guy looking after his group members or whatever. But like it's a good scene, and it's like, wow, Bankotsu and Jakotsu have something going on here in terms of like a deeper friendship that they do not have with the rest of the band of 7, and that's left open ended for us for now. But then the scene shifts over to InuYasha and Renkotsu again, and so I believe InuYasha is at this point, he is upset that Sango and Miroku haven't come back from their survey of Mount Hakure. So InuYasha says, I'm just going to go in, and I'm going to run in and take care of everything. So he starts running in, you know, this barrier is hurting him. And he gets to the point where he's like, if I go any further, I'm going to die. And that's when he runs into Renkotsu. And Renkotsu's like, so you made it this far, but you're so much weaker now. And like they fight, and Renkotsu just purposely pushes InuYasha a little bit further. And InuYasha like gets completely purified, and at this point Renkotsu's like, hey, he's dead. But then we see InuYasha in human form. All his demonic aura has been purified, and he's left as a human, and he knows as a human he can't do anything, so he starts to flee from Renkotsu. At this point Renkotsu and Jakotsu meet up, and Renkotsu's like, hey, you wanted to fight InuYasha, right? Here's your fight. He went that way. So Jakotsu starts running after InuYasha. They meet up. Jakotsu is like, ooh, you're human. You look pretty good. And they begin to fight. At the same time, Miroku has collapsed, and Sango then awakes and finds Miroku collapsed. And she notices that all the demons are gone, but Miroku is on the ground. And Sango, being the intellect that she is, realizes Miroku sucked up poisonous insects.
That's right.
And so like at this point, I believe at this moment, like the demons are hovering near them, but they can't get close because there's some sort of barrier keeping the demons out. And so Miroku starts to wake up, and then like Miroku and Sango have this moment, but these demons are just creeping in like 3 feet away. Like, oh, I care so much about you, Sango. Oh, Miroku, I care so much about you. And then the demons are like,
oh no! Oh god, no!
But they realize the demons can't get any closer, so they run deeper into Mount Hakure. And then this is when we finally meet Saint Hakushin, the mummified Saint Hakushin. He looks dried up, Has a really good tan
Has
though,
good
but his
tan.
eyeballs are a little bit messed up.
I think he's been
And he's
smoking a little bit too much. I don't know. Something's irritating his eyes. I don't know.
I don't some vape nation.
There you go.
You know,
I'll take it.
living Buddha and all that. But we finally see Saint Hakushin, and Saint Hakushin tells his story about how he was buried alive to become a living Buddha. But he did not become a living Buddha because in his final moments before he died, he felt regret that he couldn't live as a normal human being. He spent his whole life serving people and doing good things. So why does he have to die for these people too? And that moment of regret does not allow his soul to pass on. And so his soul is just drifting in essentially what is like a sort of purgatory. And Naraku then comes to Saint Hakushin, and that's when Naraku's like, hate them. Hate the people that made you die like this. And he resurrects Saint Hakushin in this undead form. And so now we finally get the answer of as to why Saint Hakushin is helping protect Naraku. And it's because Naraku has convinced Saint Hakushin that the reason why his soul didn't pass and the reason why he wasted his life is because of humans. And that is why this barrier is up. And we finally have that answer from like 6 episodes ago.
Finally.
Moroku finally knows. And so then we cut back to Jakotsu and InuYasha. They're fighting. You know, like Jakotsu's even more turned on by InuYasha's human form.
No.
He's like, oh man, you look even sexier with black hair. And like, it's like, oh god, Jakotsu, why? Please, what's wrong with you? And they're fighting, but InuYasha's very obviously losing. Like, he's getting wrecked. And Renkotu is watching in the distance, and he was like, oh, this isn't going how I planned it to go. Like, you know, like, I was hoping InuYasha could wound Jakotsu a little bit so that I could kill Jakotsu and get his jewel shards right after Jakotsu kills InuYasha. But it's obviously not going well. And so then the scene cuts back. We're back with Moroku and Sango. And Moroku, the intellect that he is, sees a gigantic barrier around Hakushin. And he's like, please, Saint Hakushin, you gotta let down that barrier. And Saint Hakushin's like, no, I won't. So Moroku's like, wind tunnel! It starts to suck that barrier. And just a little fun fact, this is the longest wind tunnel in the series. Moroku sucks, and he sucks, and he sucks, and he sucks Saint Hakushin's barrier down. And he's about to suck Saint Hakushin himself too when Hakushin escapes. But because he's broken the barrier around Saint Hakushin, the barrier around Mount Hakure dissipates. And because that purifying aura is gone, InuYasha is able to regain his half-demon form, and he stands up, pulling out Tessaiga, and faces Jakotsu in a finally semi-even fight. You know, like, InuYasha's pretty beaten up at this point. But the semi-even fight. And so the fight begins, and like, they're clashing swords, and this animation is really good. Like, I feel like I don't know if you would call it cinematography, but the action scenes are very well drawn, and I love the angles at which their swords clash. But the fight is abruptly brought to an end when InuYasha pulls out the wind scar. Wind scars Jakotsu, and Jakotsu is completely beat.
I think Jakotsu was about to use the same like strategy that he used on Sashomaru, but well, our boy InuYasha said, "This ain't gonna work. What do you think, you wind scar?"
Oh my god, you're about to use a cool wind scar. Oh, okay.
No.
And then Jakotsu's like, Jakotsu gets buried under some rubble, and it's the classic moment between a very fleshed out villain and a good guy. The fleshed out villain, Jakotsu, is like, please kill me. You know, I would love for you to be the one that kills me. Like, we've had so much fun together, you know? Like, he has this like flashback of all the moments since he's revived, you know? He's like, think about InuYasha, and InuYasha's like, no, I won't kill you.
I'm not gonna do
and
it.
He walks away. Yeah, like InuYasha, the good guy he is. So Renkotu shows up and kills Jakotsu, takes his jewel shard, and Renkotu is on the board with another team kill.
God dang,
so let me refresh for you guys. Koga, 1 kill, 1 assist. Sesshomaru, 1 kill, Jakotsu 1 kill, Renkotsu 1 kill, InuYasha a big fat 0.
Look at the band of 7 work together, you know? Too many
I
team
know.
kills.
What's all this team killing? And then a Saimyosho comes by and takes Jakotsu's hairpin and floats away, and to what we assume is Bankotsu. And okay, and then at this point, we scene cut again. We finally meet up with Kikyo. And actually, I really like this scene with Kikyo. So Kikyo encounters Saint Hakushin, and she asks again, Saint Hakushin, why are you helping Naraku? And Saint Hakushin is like, Naraku is a demon who came to me and saved my soul. And he explains to her how he regrets not becoming a living Buddha, and it's because of these humans, and it's all their fault, and that's why he has this hatred. But then Kikyo gives him a hug and says,
all I see
that's
is
not the
sadness.
Yeah, she says, all I see is sadness. Like, you don't hate people. You're just sad that you couldn't become what you promised you would become.
All he needed
And,
was
like,
a hug.
All he needed was a hug, man. And so finally, like, Saint Hakushin finds peace and he passes on. And then Kikyo pulls out these strands of hair from, I believe it was Kansuke from episode 87. Remember, this was the guy who cut off the back of his hair and was like, please take this to Mount Hakure so that my soul may find peace. And she finally pulls out his hair and you see like these soul bubbles and his soul finds peace. And it's a beautiful wrap up for both Kansuke and also for Kikyo, who's been on this journey to help people. And she can only, all the people she's helped along the way is just recovering from wounds, recovering from bandages. But I feel like something that's so symbolic of her helping these two people find peace is that she herself is trying to find peace as well. She's been revived and she's just wandering the world as this as a revived dead human, and she's trying to find peace herself. And I feel like this ultimate moment here with Hakushin and with Kansuke's hair is such a good wrap up to an arc in her story. That was my Kikyo 5 minutes of the day.
Yes. She's just purifying souls left and right, no problem.
Dude, she's such a good character, man. Why is this show about InuYasha? Screw him.
What are you talking about? It should be InuYasha Kikyo, not InuYasha Kagome.
Yeah, who's Kagome? Get her out of here. They don't even match, Kikyo and InuYasha, they wear red and white. Who's this Kagome girl wearing white and green?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like it's Christmas or something.
Wait a minute.
It's a holiday.
Wait a minute. It is. All right, I guess. No, I'm still not gonna ship InuYasha Kagome. Not even on Christmas.
No.
Tis the season.
To not be jolly. No, I'm taking it away.
No jolliness allowed here.
Loofie's like, bah humbug.
The Grinch.
No, it's not the Grinch. That's Ebenezer Scrooge.
Oh no, I haven't found out.
The Grinch.
I gotta go. I gotta go.
No. All right. So, the scene wraps up beautifully with Saint Hakushin and Kikyo. Then we go back to Bankotsu. So, Bankotsu and Renkotsu meet up, and Bankotsu comes back and he starts to talk to Renkotsu. Renkotsu starts to talk to him, and then Bankotsu just jabs his fingers into Renkotsu's neck and pulls out 2 jewel shards.
God
and
damn,
then he's like,
man.
And he's like, why did you betray Jakotsu? I know you killed Jakotsu. The Saimyosho told me. And then Renkotsu goes on this rant about how am I any different from you when you're also using the jewel shards of our fallen members? And so Bankotsu's like, okay, here. He gives the jewel shards back. He says, I won't even use Banryu because it has extra jewel shards. Let me show you the difference in power. And so they just fist fight. Bankotsu just wrecks Renkotsu. And what's symbolic about this is he kills Renkotsu with Jakotsu's hairpin. And then he says, you know what the difference is between me and you, Renkotsu? It's that I would never betray my teammates.
The power of friendship.
The power of friendship. And then Renkotsu dies, and it is finally only Bankotsu left.
That's pretty damn. That's pretty sad, actually. Sounds really lonely.
Yeah, dude, it sucks. He even has a line. He goes, "How sad! It appears now that I'm the only one left."
So sad.
And then so he takes this moment where he remembers every single member of the Band of Seven, and then he takes the jewel shards that he got back from Renkotsu, picks up the Banryu, and he heads towards Mount Hakurei's peak because he knows that it is time for the final battle.
I'll tell you what though, the Band of Seven really likes to team kill.
That is true. Why don't we update? So Koga, 1 kill, 1 assist. Sesshomaru, 1 kill. Chikotsu, Renkotsu, Bankotsu, each 1 team kill each. And InuYasha, a big fat 0.
Oh, InuYasha.
So now we head into the final segment of the Band of Seven arc. As episode 120 ends, InuYasha is climbing out Mount Hakurei when Bankotsu appears before InuYasha. And he says it's time that they fight. And so the episode begins, the next episode begins, and the demons are pouring out of Mount Hakurei. Like, Mount Hakurei is not a pure mountain anymore. It has a lot of centipede demons out there.
It's pretty tainted.
It's a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's pretty tainted. And we get this update where Koga and Sesshomaru are looking at Mount Hakurei and they're like, "There's Naraku, let's go." Jokin senses the demonic aura pouring out of Mount Hakurei, and he thinks to himself, "If I go any closer, I'm going to die." And so, like, Sesshomaru is walking forward, right? And he turns around. Sesshomaru turns around, and Jokin's there. And he's like, "Good luck, Lord Sesshomaru. Good luck." And then Sesshomaru, like, slaps him across the face, like, "Come on, Jokin, let's go."
Hey, stop messing around.
And Jokin's like, And then finally, the fight with Bankotsu and InuYasha begins. Bankotsu starts off by blaming InuYasha for killing all his members, but he hasn't killed a single one. It's Koga. He should hate Koga the most. Koga's killed 2 of them. But I guess it's by extension, you know, like your friends killed my friends, therefore you killed my friends.
You made me kill my men. I can't believe you.
I can't believe you. And so they start fighting. InuYasha pulls out his windscarf. Bankotsu easily counters it with his own beautiful purple lightning blast. I don't even know what it's called, but it's just like, it's like a back and forth fight. And it's very obviously they are even. And they're just like destroying the terrain around them. But one thing I think is really cool is before they fight, Bankotsu tells a little story about how he met Naraku before the Band of Seven was formed. And essentially the story is Bankotsu used to love to fight. He wanted to get stronger, so he just kept going around and chasing stronger demons. He eventually encounters Naraku, who escapes, but like they leave like a lasting impression between the 2 of them. It's in this flashback that then we see Jakotsu appear in the flashback as well. And right after they meet Naraku, I had to say, this is some bad storytelling, but I loved it. Bankotsu met Naraku, then Jakotsu walks in, and Bankotsu goes, "Let's go to war. Let's get together a team, and let's just pillage." And then Jakotsu was like, "How many people are we going to need?" And he's like, 7 is a good number. And Jakotsu's like, "I'm 1. We only need 5 more." And they head out.
The original 2.
And like that, I think that scene is so beautiful because it really calls back to the moment that Bankotsu and Jakotsu had a few episodes ago, where they like act like much closer than any one of the other Band of Seven members, right? And we finally figure out why. It's because Bankotsu and Jakotsu were friends from the very beginning. And that's probably why Bankotsu was so upset at Renkotsu killing Jakotsu. But even though Bankotsu was upset at Renkotsu, he still regards Renkotsu as a member of a Band of Seven and as one of his brothers, despite the betrayal, which I think is a very good trait of Bankotsu. It's like, you know, like he doesn't hold a grudge and like he forgives. I don't know how to eloquently say it, but I think it's a very like honorable trait to have, you know, like someone betrayed you, but you still respect them because you spent so many battles and wars with them that you have to respect them.
So I'm curious. So even though Renkotsu didn't have a relationship, well, he did, but didn't have a close relationship with Benkotsu, but had a good relationship with Genkotsu.
Yeah.
Do you think that because they grew, that Renkotsu and Genkotsu got close because they were friends? Or do you think Renkotsu just saw Genkotsu, oh man, he can just use all these weapons that I use. He's practically just a weapon to me.
I think it's just like, like a natural friendship that sprouted, but we'll never actually know. But they play off of each other very well, like Renkotsu is obviously a smart guy and he works with weapons, and Genkotsu loves to use weapons. And so, naturally there's like some bond between the two of them.
I built him into a transformer.
Ah, yes, I built him into this Genkotsu
I was
mobile.
so proud.
If I had only put a few more rockets on him.
Oh, the sadness.
So then we get another scene of Naraku reviving Bankotsu, and Naraku tells Bankotsu, I revived you. If you defeat my enemies, you will have everlasting life. So go and kill InuYasha. And then that's the flashback. And then Bankotsu and InuYasha continue to fight. Miroku and Sango get even closer into Mount Hakure at this point, and they can completely sense Naraku. And then Miroku, the intellect of the group, explains the reason why Naraku hid in Mount Hakure is because he wanted the barrier of Saint Hakushin, because InuYasha's red Tetsaiga destroyed his previous barrier. So where can you get a better barrier? From Mount Hakure. And that's why Naraku hid himself here. And that's all we get with Miroku at that point. Then we go back to InuYasha, they're fighting, and InuYasha is able to remove 2 shards from Bankotsu's arm, and he's like 2 down, 5 more to go. And then they continue to fight. I think they both lose their swords at one point, so they're just punching it out. They're like slugging it out.
Can we talk about that animation? Can we just simply talk about how good that animation was? Just for that small, 30 to a minute? Oh my god, that was some good stuff.
Yeah, the point in 122 when InuYasha retrieves his Tetsaiga and it transforms, I was like, this is the best Tetsaiga transformation I've ever seen.
The budget.
And like the detail on their faces, on InuYasha and Bankotsu's faces as they're fighting is so movie quality. It's so good.
The budget literally out the window just for this one segment.
I thought it was absolutely insane. This was like, this is the climax of the arc, and they dumped everything into it. And so they're punching, and it looks so good. Like, if there's an episode I would ask you to watch of InuYasha, watch 121 to 123. It's good. Like, it's really good. And so they're duking it out, and at one point, they pause for a moment. InuYasha's like, why are you trusting Naraku? Can't you see his demons? And he points to the other side of him. It's like, they're just waiting to kill whoever is the victor, right? And then Bankotsu's like, yeah, you're right. I don't really trust Naraku. But then he suddenly starts rushing for his blade. And he grabs his blade. InuYasha doesn't get what's going on, so he rushes for his blade too. Grabs the Tetsaiga. And then they charge at each other, and InuYasha is charging at Bankotsu. Bankotsu runs right past them and starts killing demons. And he starts yelling out, 991, 992, 993. And InuYasha is so confused, right? And so he's like, okay, I'll kill demons too. Wind Scar! And kills a bunch of demons. And then finally, Bankotsu reaches 1,000 demons. And then his Banryu evolves. And it starts to emit this red demonic aura out of the sword. And Bankotsu explains to him, I made a wish on the Banryu to make it stronger. 1,000 humans, 1,000 demons. That was the requirement. And so now he has this great strong sword. And they start to fight again. And Bankotsu creates this spirit bomb. It's like pinkish lightning spirit bomb. And he's like, get ready to die, InuYasha. And he chunks that spirit bomb at InuYasha. And now previously, InuYasha's been struggling because all he can use is the Wind Scar. But the Tetsaiga's ultimate move, if you remember, is the Backlash Wave. But the Backlash Wave requires demonic aura in order to work, because what it is it's essentially the wind scar into demonic aura, which then is like a counter and amplifies the amount of damage back at the person who threw the demonic aura. And so he couldn't use it for the longest time because, Bankotsu and the Band of Seven, they're humans. They have no demonic aura. But now Banryu has evolved and is emitting a demonic aura. And so finally, InuYasha is like, here we go, backlash wave. And he wrecks Bankotsu.
Oh, poor guy.
Banryu gets wrecked too. Banryu explodes.
He legit
that thing is
just got it to
broken.
transform and then gets destroyed. Like, feels bad.
I
man.
know. And then, so then once again, Bankotsu is buried under a ton of rubble. And InuYasha walks up to him. And InuYasha, I believe, really respects Bankotsu. Because he says to Bankotsu, you were way too greedy, Bankotsu. You were strong enough on your own, even without the jewel shards. And then Bankotsu, being as weak as he is, he does a very weak laugh in agreement. And then Mount Hakure absorbs him. And at this point, Mount Hakure starts to come alive, and people are starting to get absorbed. InuYasha gets tangled up. Koga gets absorbed, falls into the ground, but he does it trying to save Kagome. And then pretty much everyone is inside the cave that starts to shift around. And then finally, Kagome meets up with Moroku and Sango, who are at the bottom of Mount Hakure. And then a bunch of veiny flesh rises from the bottom of Mount Hakure with InuYasha trapped. And the episode 122 ends with Kagome just going, InuYasha! 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 And InuYasha does not wake up. And then it's finally time. The penultimate episode, Naraku returns. He finally appears, but he's only a face for now. Yeah. He's a face with a really black background. But this is our first Naraku appearance in 42 episodes, if you think about it. He hasn't been there since episode 81.
Really? 42 episodes? It's been that long?
It's been so long. And he does his maniacal laughter, right?
He's more high pitched than that. He's like, ha 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 ha.
Oh, that's actually really good, Mio. You should. Have you ever tried being Naraku for Halloween?
I mean, I got the long hair for it.
But essentially, Naraku, he says some sinister stuff. He wrecks everybody, gets everyone trapped, and then he reforms his body for the audience of InuYasha and his friends. He's like, and then he gets a body, and Naraku's new body forms. And it comes with a beautiful pink barrier. But this body is insane. He's got an eyeball on his chest. He's got 2 eyeballs on his hands. He's got dragon tails coming out of his back. It's crazy. Naraku looks cool. We waited 42 episodes to see this boy. It was worth it. He's fully upgraded. He looks more demonic than ever, which I think is symbolic of something. But he looks strong. And he has a crazy barrier that InuYasha cannot break. And I don't get why InuYasha didn't try using the red Tetsaiga against the new barrier. He just used the regular Tetsaiga against the barrier.
I don't know why either, actually.
Which I thought was weird. Yeah, I was like, dude, you can't break barriers with a normal Tetsaiga.
Especially
Has
with
it
your
been
hands.
that long? Yeah. And he's like, Iron Reaver Soul Stealer. Oh, man.
It didn't work. Oh, man. Surprise.
Hold up. And so then now that Naraku's body is formed, everyone's so kind of trapped. Naraku starts to float up because there's an opening at the top of Mount Hakure, and he's like, Mount Hakure is gonna swallow you guys up, meaning InuYasha, Koga, Kagome, Shippo, Moroku, Sango, and Kirara, right? So he just leaves, and he's like, you guys are dead. Which is why would any villain ever do that? Finish the job, man. Just kill them and then leave, all right? Because obviously they're gonna live. So Naraku escapes. Outside of Mount Hakure, we see Kikyo. Kikyo is realizing that the jewel shards are finally merging into one piece. And at this point, we haven't seen the jewel shard yet, but it's almost done. It's very close to done. But what she notices as she's looking at Mount Hakure is she sees Kagura escaping with something in her arms. And so Kikyo tries to shoot the arrow at Kagura. Kagura dodges it. Kagura gets ready to attack Kikyo when the something in her arm speaks. And it says, Kikyo is not yours to be killed. And so Kagura's like, oh, okay. And then she flies off. Now, that something in her arms is an insane character that I can't wait for you guys to meet. It's
I feel like
so cool.
I feel like I've met this character, but I don't really remember. It's like
there are some really good characters coming up,
like,
I have to
some,
say.
Like some of these episodes, for some reason, I never seen before, but others I have. I don't know. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's like, like random parts trigger your memory, but you don't know why.
Like for the first half of the Band of Seven, I remember that. But the second half, I've never seen before. And the thing that's in Kagura's hands, I feel like I've seen it before. But until I get to those episodes, it's kind of fuzzy.
Oh, man. The next episodes are going to be so good. But to wrap up our summary of everything that's happening, at the end of 123, Naraku, the last thing this episode ends on is Naraku says, Kikyo, I shall be seeing you soon.
Oh.
Bum, bum, bum.
And, oh my god, the next episode is one of my favorite episodes, but it's also one of the saddest episodes for me. But it's such a good one, and I can't wait for us to watch it next time. But that wrapped up the Band of Seven. It was insanely good in my opinion. I think that was peak InuYasha after, the beginning arc where we meet Miroku, Sango, and Shippo. After that, I felt like things kind of lagged for a while. And then the Band of Seven happened, and I'm absolutely in love with InuYasha again. How about you guys?
I loved it. I really did love it. After all that, filler, Jesus Christ, I'm back. I can't wait for the next time.
Yeah, that filler left me a broken man.
It left us all broken. Let's be real.
What about you, Mio?
I feel like this is one of the best arcs in all of InuYasha.
Uh-oh. That's it. Downhill from here.
No. It gets good again, but the fillers start coming back, which is a little bit of a shame. But yeah, we're going to meet some of my favorite characters in the series soon. Like, they are insanely well designed. Like Rumiko Takahashi has been writing InuYasha at this point for I believe 5 or 6 years, and so her character design has gotten better. And we just saw how Naraku looked. Naraku looks good. Just wait till you see the next characters. They are even better. So I'm really excited. All right, you guys ready to head out?
Mm-hmm.
Let's head out.
This has been Anime Rewind. You guys, thank you so much for listening and your continued support. All the growth that we see in this podcast is thanks to you listeners retweeting and sharing our episodes with your friends and family, and especially during this holiday season, just sharing the episodes with them up front. Thank you so much for supporting our podcast. Now, as the holidays are approaching, Anime Rewind will be going on a holiday hiatus. So our next main episode will be out January 21st, 2020, where we will be discussing InuYasha 124 to 132. So we hope to see you there. But until then, happy holidays, happy new year, and until next time, my name's Loofie.
My name is Shang.
And my name is Mio.
And remember, Commando until proven not Commando.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Casual media.
Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Boila from the Casual Report. The face of GOC. The Casual Report is the official GOC news podcast where we chat about anything and everything going on within our community. We talked about games, we talked about meetups, and we talked about how fam is completely banned because he made me white. The Casual Report goes out in the second week of every month and is available on YouTube. My name's Boila, and we want you for GOC.
I'm no Superman.